Outdoor play is fun, usually a lot of fun, but it's not just for fun. Outdoor play is essential for children's healthy development. Yet, today, children play outside less than their parents did. They play outside less than any of us adults did. And that is a problem. That is a problem for children's physical, emotional, mental, and social health and development. And if we want to do something with that problem, we have to understand why children don't play outside anymore. And you know who I really would like to see play outside more? The teenager. The teenager, the dreaded teenager, the 9 to 14-year-old. Some of you might have them lurking around your houses, only leaving their room occasionally to eat, and if you're lucky, to take a shower. Can you remember what it was like being a teenager? Can you remember the awkwardness, the cringe, the 1 minute wanting to be big, the next minute longing to be a child again? For those of you who have a teenager at home, have you tried asking them, what did you do today at school? I can recognize those of you that have tried asking them. They will say something like, nothing, or I don't know, or if you're really lucky and your teenager still likes talking to you, they might say something like, oh, we played tug of war today and it was lit. And you are, what? What are they saying? We, parents, adults, we just don't seem to understand our tweens. And we don't understand why they don't play outside anymore. And that is where my team and I come in. We have studied outdoor play for more than 20 years. We spent more than 1,000 hours observing children play. We see what kids do when parents and teachers are looking away. But seeing what kids do is not enough to understand why they do it. We have to ask. But asking them, we don't understand what they tell us either. So the way we do that is we invite teenagers and kids to show us around in their places. And while they show us around, we get them to talk about what they're doing, where they're doing it, and why they're doing it, or not doing things. And that has really given us some great insights into why children don't play outside anymore. Let me tell you a few stories from our research projects. In one of our projects, we were at a small town school, and the school was getting a new schoolyard. And it was a very involved process. The children were involved in the design, the teachers, the parents, and so on. And one of the things they wanted was hills. Denmark is very, very flat, and hills are always popular on playgrounds. So they got hills, nice, colorful hills. And when we do this type of research projects, we use a very classic research design. We go, we observe before things are happening, and then a change is happening. In this case, the school got a new playground, and we come back afterwards to see what has changed. And at this particular school, to our big surprise, in this school, it went from a flat, boring asphalt area to these nice, colorful hills. But what we saw, to our big surprise, was that the use of this hilly area was less than of the old asphalt area. Why? We couldn't quite understand. So we went to ask, and we went in particular to ask some of the boys that we knew and could recognize had been very, very involved in the design process. And they had been very vocal about wanting the hills. And they told us, well, we used to roll on our scooters, on our skateboards, so we wanted hills to roll on. But the hills they got, they had edges like this, a sharp edge. You can't roll on a sharp edge. So they were extremely disappointed with the hills they had gotten and didn't use them. Details matter. Back to the hills. So they got these colorful hills, And one of the hills was really, really big, about 6 meters tall, very steep. And a few weeks before the opening of this new schoolyard, there was a parent-teacher meeting. And some of the parents were very concerned with this big, steep hill and worried that their children might fall down and hurt themselves. We were at this teacher-parent meeting, and the headmaster, an elderly gentleman close to retirement, at a certain point he gets up and he's like, "They're kids. They have to learn to take risks." Okay, bold statement. Afterwards, the headmaster told us researchers, "I'm sure 1 or 2 will break their arm the first week. I'll explain it to the parents. It'll be fine." He was our hero for a very, very long time. We need more of those heroes. What happened? So obviously, when we were at the school, after it opened, we had to ask, what happened the first couple of weeks? 1 kid fell and broke their arm. The kids wanted hills, they got hills. 1 kid broke their arm, almost everyone happy. The story could end here, but there is another chapter worth telling. At this school, we were very lucky that we were able to follow this school for almost 6 years. And the last time we came back at this school to see how they were using the schoolyard, to our pleasant surprise, this nice hilly area was used a lot. What had happened was that the children that were originally involved in the design process, they had left the school to go to secondary school, and a new culture had evolved at this school. Remember this hill, this very, very steep hill? It was so steep that the smaller children, they physically could not get to the top. They simply couldn't do it. So this hill had become the status symbol at this school. If you were able to get to the top, if you were skilled enough, strong enough, big enough to get to the top, you were one of the big kids. You made it. And to see, we were so lucky at one of our observations, we saw one of the kids reach the top for the first time. The look on that face, priceless. So this new area became used, a new culture appeared at this schoolyard. Different story. Same schoolyard, slightly different area. We were doing our observations. There was this playhouse about this size, designed for smaller children. And during our observations, we heard a lot of laughing coming from this playhouse. When we looked, we saw there were 4 teenagers in that tiny little playhouse, crammed together, 2 boys, 2 girls, probably about 12, 13 years old, clearly having a lot of fun in the playhouse. Until a teacher came by and basically told them to get lost, because it was for the small kids. In passing, I heard one of them mumble, "Stupid grown-up rules." And actually, the stupid grown-up rules is one of the main reasons why children don't play outside anymore. We've seen many examples of that. And one of the stories I want to tell you that also shows that was at a different school. We had again worked with the school, designed this area specific for teenagers. It was a bit further away from the main school building. It was away from where the smaller children were playing. There were a lot of challenging activities. You could hang out there. You could be away from the adults. We were expecting so much from this area. When we got there, after it was finished, the area was used a lot, but not by our teenagers. They were only smaller children, and we could not understand why. So we asked one of the teenagers who were in a different part of the schoolyard, "What happened? Why are you not using that area?" And they were telling us, "Well, we're not allowed to go there." That couldn't be right. This area was created for tweens, with teenagers. They couldn't use it. We asked one of the teachers, and she told us, "Yes, well, the first week, we had an accident happen. One of the big kids, they ran into a group of smaller ones, and they got hurt. So we decided that the area was off-limit for the big kids." Bruh! No wonder the tweens don't want to play outside anymore. Last short story, football fields or soccer fields. They're always very popular. Kids want more of them, schools want more of them, parents want more of them. But they're also, in our observations, they are the areas where we see a lot of conflict, we see a lot of hierarchy, we see a lot of exclusion happening. You have to be good to play. And also, perhaps more surprisingly, we see quite often this being an area that is empty. So these very, very popular football fields, they're empty, they're being not used. Can anyone guess why? Why they're not being used? Could be the rules, it's not. It's even more stupid, it's even more simple. There are no footballs. It is really that simple. So what should we do to get our children to play outside more? Firstly, no more stupid grown-up rules. Secondly, we have to stop taking away places they like and use. And thirdly, details matter. To know which details matter, we have to listen to our children, really listen to them, involve them in creating places. They are the experts. They know. What makes a good place? A good place to play is a place with variation. One size does not fit all. It is a place where you can play challenging games that give you a sense of danger. It is a place where you can do non-competitive sports. It is a place, and this is especially important for girls, a place where there's music. And in particular for tweens, it is a place where they can get away from the adults. It is a place where they can be away from the smaller children. The time is now to give our children the places they want and need, and not the spaces we think they should have. Thank you.